big role. I live, I breathe, I sleep it.
It's content that travels.
We convert the customer.
Already seeing double-digit growth.
Beyond just a transaction.
Good morning to those of you who, like myself, are joining in the US, and good afternoon to everyone in Europe. Welcome to today's webinar, Go Beyond, Humanizing Commerce Through Technology and Community. My name is Karina. I'm on the commercial team in the US at Bambuser, and I'll be your host for today's session. Thank you for joining us. We're super excited to bring together a dynamic program exploring how social commerce, live shopping, and community-driven strategies are reshaping the future of retail. Today, we're going to be hearing from Carmen Mully, a social commerce and live shopping expert and CEO of Paragon Social Commerce, and we'll be discussing top tips to connect, engage, and convert customers through video. Elizabeth Jordan, the Senior Manager of Performance Marketing at Moroccan Oil North America, will speak about the role of community in a tech-driven world. And Nicole Colaco, Senior Brand Marketing Manager at Loft, who will be discussing how to turn product discovery into conversions. Now, before we begin, just a few quick housekeeping notes. This session is being recorded, and we'll share the replay link with you after the event. And please feel free to use the comment section for any questions you'd like our speakers or our moderator to address. Now, we're going to dive in with our first speaker. In this segment, we're honored to welcome Carmen Mully, a social commerce and live shopping expert and CEO of Paragon Social Commerce. Carmen brings a wealth of experience bridging commerce and community and will share practical strategies for driving global growth in our evolving landscape. You will be able to ask your questions in the comment section, and throughout the keynote, Carmen will address them in the Q&A part of her presentation. Big welcome to Carmen. Over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here today. We are going to be talking about tips on how to connect, engage, and convert customers. I am Carmen Mully, and I'm the founder and CEO of Paragon Social Commerce, and I'm ready to share with you a lot of things about live shopping that you need to know to make sure that you convert those consumers that you're watching your lives. So before we start, I want to introduce my company, which is Paragon Social Commerce. We are a boutique agency that specializes in live and social commerce, and we help brands, D2C brands more specifically, that launch and scale on TikTok Shop, and we help them as well with all sorts of different social commerce strategies, both paid and organic. So basically, we work with companies together and we help them sell more on social media. We focus on social commerce, as I mentioned, live shopping and TikTok Shop, and we're a TikTok Shop partner agency in Spain, Germany, and the UK. Before we start with the tips, I want to share a little bit more about me and my experience with live shopping. And the thing is that I started with this literally 10 years ago, back in 2015 in China. I was a host myself for an online TV called Sanchi TV there in China, where there was not live shopping yet. It was just live streaming, but we had to get people entertained so that they could donate, and we would get paid from those donations. Fast forward to 2016, I was one of the first hosts for the first ever live shopping event that AliExpress did on their 11/11 Singles Day. And so, as I mentioned, I was one of the hosts for that event on 2016 and 2017. At that time, everything was so different. Like, we could literally not talk to the audience or anything. So it was like everything pretty much act out. And then I also created my own e-commerce brand with which I was doing live shopping on Instagram. At that time, we could not purchase directly from the live streaming, but you can see there how it looked like. It would take you directly to your e-commerce store. So it was a little bit clunky. Then I was the CEO of an agency that was focusing solely on social commerce. And there you can see that I was at the Mexico a huge digital marketing event in Germany. And I hosted the first ever live shopping show at a trade show, which was an amazing experience. We got 700 leads from there. Then as well, I developed a social commerce live shopping marketplace called Stream Plaza. It was the first live shopping marketplace here in Spain. And right now, I am the CEO of Paragon Social Commerce, and we're focusing mainly on working with brands, as I mentioned, on social commerce and live shopping. So now that we know a little bit about me and about live shopping, let's talk about some numbers and facts in the different markets. And so I'm going to start with Asia. I don't know if you've ever heard of Li Jiaqi. He's the lipstick king. He's one of the most recognized live shopping hosts in China, and he generated the crazy amount of $2.9 billion in sales during an 8-hour session of live shopping on the pre-sale event of the 11/11. As you know, China has been doing live shopping for so long. This is the first market that entered this new way of selling. And of course, they are pretty advanced by today. Now, let's talk about what's happening in live shopping in the US. Well, in the US, we have different platforms, like, for example, Whatnot, which is another live shopping marketplace. And they reported over 3 billion USD dollars in live stream sales. And those results are going to keep growing. So as we can see, there is a difference between China and the US. The US is a little bit behind, but it's catching up very fast. And then let's talk also about the numbers in Europe. Well, we are still in a growing market. It's a very new market, but just look at the numbers. Last year alone, in Europe, we already generated 1,497 million in live shopping. And this is expected to keep growing until 2030 at a rate of 27.4% year over year. So, as you can see, success doesn't look the same everywhere, and markets are evolving differently, but we want to get a real idea of why and how all the markets are different. So let's talk about how each market differs from the other. Well, as I mentioned, Asia started with live shopping and live streaming in 2015. So they've been doing this for quite a long time now. They're like far ahead from pretty much everywhere in the rest of the world. And this market is already mature. They are doing things completely differently. They have live streamers that are basically focused on mainly sales. They have very aggressive sales, lots of deals floating the live streamings, and also entertainment. This is really, really impressive because they have moved from just selling and selling and selling to selling, but in a fun and entertaining way. The thing is that in Asia, consumers have been consuming live shopping for a long time period now. So they're very used to purchasing through live shopping. Now, if we look at the US is a little bit behind, but still it is growing very, very fast. And there are platforms like Whatnot or Amazon Live that are catching up on everything that's live shopping related. And then finally, we have Europe, as I said, that is still very early stage, and the focus is completely different as in Asia. For some reason, many consumers here in Europe, like many brands, they feel like, oh my God, no, I cannot push the sale, like it's too aggressive. And so brands are focusing mostly on educating consumers on how to purchase live, on providing them some extra value, and we are not pushing the sale as much. So we're not yet on that entertaining kind of like shoppertainment era yet. But obviously, this is something that we need to learn more and that we need to start implementing more with our own brands here. Now, these are a few images of how live shopping shows look like in China. As you can see, they're very well prepared. There is so many things happening on screen. And this is very important because we want to make sure that we keep consumers' attention all the time. If we don't have things happening on our back, and if the host is not entertaining, then you're going to lose the sale because consumers are going to not pay attention anymore. They're going to get bored. They're going to leave. So Chinese have mastered this, and now they're selling in all kinds of different ways. For example, there is this other way of selling, for example, fashion, in which we will see a Chinese model that she's walking on this walking machine and she's showing consumers how the clothes look on her as she is walking. So that's a very different way of selling that we are not implementing here in Europe. But of course, it works because it helps consumers see how the clothes look like, and it helps them imagine how those clothes would look like on them and how they move as they're walking, for example. And then they also organize skits and lots of short and fun, entertaining video content that engages the consumer. Now, let's talk about live shopping in Europe. Well, today I'm going to share a little bit more about the case of Stella McCartney that just had a live shopping event. They hosted a live shopping event in September. And this is a luxury brand that was selling clothes live. So this is also a way for me to tell you that live streaming is not just for like cheap products. That is something that many brands think that, oh no, maybe if I sell something that is more expensive, they're not going to purchase it. Well, as you can see, we also have case studies in which we are selling like high-end goods and expensive products. And this is very interesting as well, that we're tapping into the luxury consumers and luxury vertical, because actually people, what they want is to see how the products would look like. They are going to connect. In this case, Stella McCartney hosted this event with Eva Mendes, which is a really recognized personality. And so that helps them get closer to the brand as well, and to have the consumers be included into a different world that normally they wouldn't see. So that's a really interesting way of putting live shopping as well into a different market, in this case, high-end and luxury goods. Something that they did very well is to first mention everywhere on their socials and on all their channels that they were going to be going live and that they were going to be hosting this event. Obviously, if we do a live shopping event, we need people to know that there is something happening and that they need to join us and that there's something happening for them. And then obviously they had somebody that's a reference for them that they wanted to see and they wanted to connect with, trying on the clothes that they were showing on that live shopping show. And then, of course, they had the chat enabled so that consumers could send messages, ask questions, and they could have them answered in real time. Now, I've been saying that the future of e-commerce is live, and if you are not yet using it, you should really, really consider start doing it now, because there is so many things happening right now around the live shopping scene. So now let's talk a little bit more about the things that you need before you go live. And obviously, the first thing that you need before going live is a good technology. If you don't have the right technology, your live stream show is not going to look good. If you're doing your live shopping show on your e-commerce store, you need to make sure that you have a technology that can support a high amount of traffic and that allows you to stay live and not just destroying the flow. For example, if the live streaming is not running smooth, if there is so much lag or something like that, then it's not going to be as interesting for the consumers, because they're going to see that you are not like sharing everything, like it's not as real time. And it actually can get a little bit confusing. So you need to make sure that you have a good technology. For example, Bambuser, that's super easy to connect and integrate with your website, and that has like the perfect technology to make sure that your live stream runs smooth. So that's the first thing, getting that right. And then of course you need to have a good set with a good lighting, good audio, and of course the internet connection needs to be high quality, and obviously cable. Always use the cable if you're doing live shopping, because otherwise it may just freeze and you're going to lose a lot of the work that you've put in to get to that point. Now, why is live shopping on e-commerce store reshaping online retail? Well, probably you've noticed that consumers are changing, and online stores as we know them, they're getting boring. They're not helping you connect with your audience. So if you look at an e-commerce store, it usually looks just like a catalog, and you scroll through it. And there's nothing so special about scrolling through a catalog. You just read the information, you just see the picture, and it just gets really boring and doesn't really answer to any of your questions. So why you need to include video? Well, it's going to help the consumer see more about the product, and it's actually going to help understand more about that product as well. And if they have any questions, probably that video is going to help with those questions. But then if you go live, if you include live streaming as well, what's going to happen is that you are going to be able to drive the sale. So if the consumer has a question, they're going to ask you directly on the chat. You're going to answer, and then that question's gone. So you're helping them make a purchasing decision instantly. That is why it is so important that we include on our e-commerce store both video and live streaming. We want to make our world, which is our website, interactive and helping connect with the consumer. So as you can see it here, live shopping bridges content, commerce, real-time discovery, and instant purchase. This is super important as well, because within the live streaming, we can just add a button and the consumer can purchase directly from there. They don't need to go to any other pages, and we're just making it super easy for them. It's frictionless, it's seamless, and it's really good to increase conversion rates. And as we can see here, customers, they don't browse anymore. They also interact and they ask questions. And this is super important for us as brands, because we can also gather a lot of data from that. What are consumers saying? What are they interested in? What are the products that they like the most? And that's information that we're getting real time from our consumers. Now, if live shopping is transforming online retail, how can brands actually make the most out of it? Well, there is a process for it, and obviously we need to connect, engage, and convert. I say this pretty much all the time, and it is basically that before conversion comes connection or conversation. So we need to make sure that we actually connect and converse with our audience before they're actually ready to convert. And how are we going to do that? Well, let's dive deeper into all this. First, we need to connect with our audience. If we're going to do a live shopping show, it's not enough that we just go live and that's it. We need to let the audience know that we are going to be doing something, that we're going to be doing something special, and that they actually want to be there. So there's something in it for them, right? So we need to build that awareness before going live. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to do that through our newsletters. We're going to do that through all our social channels. We're going to do that through paid media. We're going to announce it also on our website. We're going to let users know that there's a live shopping show that's happening and that they cannot miss it, because they're gonna find something so amazing and so interesting, whatever that is. It could be a product launch, it could be a special discount, it could be anything that actually the consumer wants to really get. And like if we give them a reason, like, okay, we're launching this one product and the only way for you to get it is on this live streaming, they're most probably going to come, because they don't want to miss it. There is this fear of missing out, and so we're also subconsciously pushing them to want to be on the live streaming. And then we want to use storytelling, and we want to use visuals so that they feel like, okay, there's something interesting here for me. There's something that makes me actually want to come here and spend my time and learn more about what they want to show me. So this is the first phase, connecting with the audience, letting them know that we're doing something. This is basically how a live shopping show would look like. And we can see here a host, as you can see, it's just explaining something, and we can see like how many things are happening in the chat. It's very important that the host can actually pay attention to what's going on in the chat, or have someone that's helping the host with the comments, so that we can answer to the questions real time. I always say that there's like a second world happening in the chat. And if we pay close attention, we are going to be able to convert a lot more, because we're going to give consumers what they want real time. So what's the next step? The next step is to engage. The live streamings need to be interactive. If they're just you showcasing your product and not connecting, not saying anything interesting for the audience, then you're not bringing any value. So why would they come to you? We need to make sure that we invite users to be part of our world. We ask them questions, we help them connect with us, we interact with them in a way in which, if we are showing them a product, maybe they're curious. We try to find that curiosity. We ask them questions so that they interact with us. We ask them to like what they're seeing. We find ways to kind of like gamify the experience. That could be, for example, with a giveaway or with a special discount, or we need to think of ways to like have fun with the audience and let them join us in our world. We want them to feel part of what we are actually creating within the live stream. And as you can see here, this is a live streaming in which there are many things going on. You can see that they're showing, in this case, the pencil for the eyebrows. And this one is like a really well crafted live stream show. But you need to understand that you don't need to be super high end your live streaming. It could be anything simple. What's most important is that you actually get to connect with the audience. And as you talk about a product, you show the product on screen. As you can see, the products are there on the pin. And talk about the benefits and the reasons why they should purchase the product and why they should do it now. Don't just focus on the qualities of the product or like how it looks like. Just what is it going to do for you? Okay, and then convert. Live shopping is very interesting as a shopping experience because it helps you with the checkout process. Everything happens within the same window. So consumers don't need to go anywhere. They don't need to think about anything too much. They just click and then they just get the product, which is an amazing way of actually making the sale, because otherwise they just leave and they may never come back. But now, once we have the live streaming and once we've finished with the live, we need to make sure that we optimize the results and that we measure everything that happens. So we want to know, what are the products that got the most clicks? What are the products that got the most interactions? What are the products that got purchased the most? Was there a specific offer that the users purchase more? Was there a bundle that they really liked? What was it that we thought that consumers were going to purchase, but finally they didn't? So we need to pay attention to all those things, and we need to analyze it. And then with all that data, then we go to the next live stream, and we already have an idea of the things that worked and the things that didn't work, and we try to optimize all that. And so here, what we can see is basically a purchasing process from the live streaming to the product to the purchase, like once it's in the cart. So this is how we create a live shopping event, but there is a strategy that you need to put in place, because otherwise it may not work. And this is something that the brands struggle a lot with. Like, I tried to do live shopping, it didn't work as I expected. But then the question is, did you have the strategy in place? Well, let's make it happen. You need to prepare a full-on strategy. So everything that happens before the live streaming, everything that happens during the live, and everything that happens after the live needs to be connected. And so let's see how we do this. On the pre-live, we need to know what our goals are. What do we want to achieve? Some brands may want to focus just on awareness. Some brands may want to focus just on sales. So depending on what you want to achieve, you're going to create your live and everything that's going to happen next one way or another. Then we need to prepare the host and the products. The host is one of the most important things of the live streaming, because if the host is not able to connect with the audience, then there's nothing that we can do. The host needs to be able to sell if what we want is to sell, and the host needs to be able to entertain and to keep the energy up if we want to keep people staying in our live streaming. And then we need to think about the product strategy. What are the products that we're going to be showcasing? Are we going to have any specific bundles? Are we going to, as I mentioned, give and host any giveaways? Are we going to be giving discounts? What is it that we're going to be doing with the products? What is the set of products that we're going to be showcasing? Are we going to have 5 products? Are we going to have 10? We need to think of all those things before the live streaming. And then, of course, we need to promote it. If we don't promote our live shopping event, most probably nobody's going to show up. And we don't want that to happen, because we are spending a lot of time preparing the live streaming. So we need to make sure that all these 3 parts are really well set up and really well worked on. Then during the live streaming, now we've done all the awareness about the event. Now the users know that we're doing this, and they're really excited about us hosting a live streaming. So once we have the users there, what do we need to do? We need to engage with the audience. As I mentioned, we need to ask them questions. We need to ask them what their worries are about their products. What are the things that are stopping them from actually purchasing. We need to show them the products and ask them, be proactive with them. We can play as well with polls. We can do flash sales. There is so many things that we can do during the live stream, but we need to make sure that the audience is engaged and that they're interested in everything that we are showing them. And then after the live streaming, depending on the brand, they will want to repurpose the content. If you have put a lot of effort on creating the content, on hosting a really good live streaming, you may want to download that content and then repurpose it, share it on social, have different snippets shared as well on your newsletter, have it turned into a shoppable video that you can have on your e-commerce website as well. So there is so many things that you can do with the content after a live shopping show, but you need to strategize as well. You need to think how you want to make use of it. And then once the live streaming is over, you can also retarget viewers, and you can let them know as well that you did a live streaming and that they can go back to watch it to the replay, because it happens many times as well that many conversions don't happen during the live streaming per se, but they happen right after or a few hours later. So we want to make sure that we still keep those consumers there and that we let them know all the things that we did so that they still get the chance to purchase post live streaming. And then obviously we want to see everything that happened on the live. We talked about this a few minutes before. And if we just leave the reply there for a while, we want to measure as well what happens with the replay, because as I said, many consumers won't purchase like during the live. So we want to measure as well how many of the consumers purchase after the live streaming and how long it actually took them to finalize the purchase after the live streaming. And now there's a simple process that we can go through to make sure that we excel with live shopping. And it is just this one. If you follow these 5 steps, you're going to have the step-by-step strategy for a great live shopping event on your e-commerce store. So the first thing, if you are using Bambuser and you want to hold a live shopping event on your e-commerce store, you want to make sure that you set up a live shopping channel on your website where users can go and they can register for your live streaming. Or if you're hosting your live streaming in a few days' time, you want to make sure that it's somewhere on your website so that consumers, the users, can see it and they can register, and so they can get a notification as well, like, hey, we're going to be going live soon. So we keep reminding them that we're going to be going live and we're going to do something, and they see it straight away when they go to your store. Then create content. If you are going to host a live shopping event, just share it on your socials, on your newsletter. So create content and let your audience know that you're going to be hosting this live event, and share it with them with an image, with a video, something that creates this FOMO and that makes the audience want to show up for the live streaming. Promote it in advance on all the different channels, and then go live once you know what you want to do and what your strategy is and what you want to achieve during the live. Interact, drive urgency, and push for the sale. I know you may be scared of pushing for the sale. Please don't, because live shopping, it is exactly for that, for selling. So help your consumers help you. And then finally, optimize. Once you're done with the live streaming, optimize every single thing. Look for the products that were the most open, the products that were the most clicked on, the products that were purchased the most, and then analyze everything so that you can optimize for the next live streaming. Okay, all these steps, please don't miss any of them. And well, it sounds very exciting, but how does everything work in real life? We have a case study here from Never Fully Dressed. They use Bambuser to create shoppable content on their website. And what we saw here is that they reduce their return rates. This is super important as well because return rates are usually very high, but with live shopping, we can reduce these returns. So if we reduce these returns, we're also increasing the revenue on our e-commerce store. And so what happened here, as I mentioned, is that they use video, and this helped consumers understand how the fabric looked like, how they could style it, and this would help consumers make a more precise purchase. They would know more about the size that they need to purchase. They would be more confident when purchasing, and this overall helps brands to avoid getting that high amount of returns. So, live shopping is not just the future, it's happening now. There are many companies that are already using it. The ones that are using it, they are ahead of the curve. They're starting to see the results. And if you're not yet implementing it, you definitely should, because it's going to take over by storm. And it's not me saying it, it is the numbers. You've seen it at the beginning. Different markets, they're all at different places, but we keep growing and we keep all moving forward. So you better do it before it's too late. And you want to make sure that you are one of the first brands making use of shoppable video and live streaming. And so this was all for today from my side. I hope you learned a lot from this. If you have any questions, we're going to have now the Q&A. And if you want to connect with me, you can just do it through LinkedIn, searching for me as Carmen Muley, Muley, and a couple Chinese characters. You'll see that's me. And then you can also find us on paragonsocialcommerce.com or on LinkedIn as well if you search for Paragon Social Commerce. So thank you very much. Okay, so I got one question here. I'm going to go right to answer it. You asked, is there a particular time that is best to go live? And so the things that you're going to have to check for your brand, and depending on where you're at, but normally very early in the morning, it usually works well before people go to work. Then at lunchtime is a really good time as well to go live because people are on a break. And then finally, and potentially the best time to go live is after 6 p.m. once people are already back home after work and they're relaxing. There's where you're gonna have more chances to have people joining your live and being relaxed and actually being willing to spend time with you and maybe purchase. We have seen as well that there are really good days for like sales in general, and those are Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays.
Thank you so much, Carmen. That was a super insightful presentation. One of my favorite things you said was before conversion comes connection. It sounds like
Absolutely.
the future of e-com is totally driven by browsing and not just not by browsing and more by interacting.
Exactly.
Powered by video, live streaming, shoppable video. It sounds like the key really is making it frictionless for customers to interact with the brand.
Absolutely. Yes. And we can also see as well the brands, they're using lots of influencers as well. That's an interesting way to connect with the audience as well, because influencers can bring that authenticity to the brand as well. So always think about connection, and then the conversion will come because you are also helping with trust. The more they trust you, the more they know you, the more that they are involved with you, the more willing they're going to be to purchase your products today and tomorrow and then again in the future.
Love that. Building that community and authenticity to drive lifetime value and loyalty for forever.
Exactly.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We will now be shifting into an interview with Elizabeth Jordan, the Senior Manager of Performance Marketing for North America at Moroccan Oil. She will be discussing with my coworker, Julia Renchner-Kelly, on our customer success team, the role of community in today's tech-driven world.
Hello, everyone. I am thrilled to introduce Elizabeth Fenton Jordan, the Senior Manager of Performance Marketing at Moroccan Oil. She's been with the company nearly 6 years and has been an integral part of their growth during that time. We're highlighting Moroccan Oil today due to their significant and effective efforts in building community, driving engagement, and always looking for ways to further optimize. Hello, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Julia. How are you?
Great, good. Better now that we get to chat with one of my absolute faves. So, as mentioned, I had a few questions I just wanted to go through with you to better understand your strategy and, kind of share the wealth with everybody else and all the awesome work that you're doing. So, really wanted to start by focusing on community. Community is often at the heart of live commerce. How do you think that building a community has helped your brand drive engagement and ultimately sales? And what originally made you guys decide to go live? And how do you kind of connect those efforts with your social and e-commerce platforms?
Definitely. So, a little bit about how we decided to launch this platform with you all. It was actually Shop Talk about 3 years ago. I go every year, and I always get such good learnings, meet amazing people. But I remember so distinctly one of the sessions was about live shopping and about this sort of transition that the West will be facing, and they were harping on the fact that the eastern part of the world, it was like the stat was like 97% of all transactions online in Asia come from live shopping, and that this is not a trend that's slowing down, and it's just something that the West will be adopting in about 5 years. This was again about 3 years ago. And I remember hearing that, and I was like, okay, well, companies already exist, obviously Bambuser, and why wait? Why wait 5 years? I think since this is an inevitable thing coming, let's launch this now. So I'd gone back to my leadership, and they were very supportive. I have amazing leadership at Moroccan Oil that essentially, lets me do whatever I want within reason. So it was a no-brainer. I was really a big advocate for it, and we built it from the ground up with you all at Bambuser. And it's just become such a point of community, to your point, Julia, about how we leverage it. And of course, there's social media. We have a huge stylist community. Moroccan Oil is a salon first brand and salon founded brand. So that's a big important part of our community as well. But I just wanted to do something different and really engage people more online, and live streaming was just that next logical step. And it's built such a community. We definitely have people that tune in, week over week, or I guess month over month. We do them once to twice a month. And they recognize us as hosts. We have the same few hosts that kind of rotate in, and it really has built everything that we expected it to from the community standpoint.
I love that. Yeah. No, I mean, just to your point, it's kind of seeing the same people popping in and out, just kind of shows the test of your guys' fan base and how you do that so well, and that they keep coming back and tuning in. And I just love that kind of like repeat and return initiative that you guys really do so well. So yeah, thank you for helping us understand that more. And honing in a little bit more on, the tech specifically. Technology, to your point, is playing a bigger role in keeping audiences engaged. How do you use gamification in your live shows, your live sessions, and what other tools or features have been most effective in supporting this overall strategy?
Definitely. So I would say the first 2 years, we really didn't lean into the gamification whatsoever. We were just trying to figure out what is our strategy, what do we talk about, like just kind of the foundation and the basics first. How do we communicate these to our watchers or whatever? So the gamification for us, that took about 2 years to get down pat, maybe like a year, but we just felt comfortable at that point. The gamification started for us the very top of 2025. So I'm proud to say that we have used gamification in every single live stream we have done since the beginning of this year, which is exciting. We use it in a giveaway capacity, and that really engages the customers, the watchers, the viewers. We give away product every single live stream, ranging from 5 products to 10 products. We've given away so much as almost 20 products before. And that's just been such a way to engage them. We'll announce it at the beginning of the live and then say, opt in. And then at the end of the live stream, we will announce the winners. So that's also been a great tool for us to keep people engaged and watching and keep that view time going up.
I love that. And your results really speak for themselves. I mean, we've seen outstanding engagement results, average time watched, all of those KPIs that are important to you guys. We've seen just, on an upward trend. So clearly the strategy is working. And, it's just great to hear it directly from you. Okay, amazing. So, furthermore, you operate across different business models to your point. How do you compare the impact of live commerce within your e-commerce strategy versus your wholesale or your reseller efforts?
Yeah, so it's definitely growing. It's definitely growing. I would say we're building out our team internally. So, like I mentioned previously, live streaming is something that I personally launched with my team. And it's growing in the sense of we have more people involved in it. We're getting a bit bigger in terms of the set and just things contributing to the live stream and a variety of hosts. It was for a while, it was myself and our director of social who hosted every single live stream for about a good year. And I'm still hosting here and there, but it's just becoming more of a presence within, like, internally at Moroccan Oil. People know about it. Our international team is super excited about it and wants to launch it. So we'll see in a bit what happens there. But yeah, it really has become part of our e-commerce strategy, both from an email communication standpoint. We message about the lives, before they happen, after they happen, on social. We're kind of firing on all cylinders there, and we definitely have seen the results in the revenue driven for sure. And then even more exciting, which we've spoken about recently, but we'll be launching live shopping as well now with you all on our professional site, Moroccan Oil Professionals, which is geared towards stylists. So they'll be using it in a bit of a different capacity than we do on the D2C side, but all goes to show what it is that we've built and how exciting it is for people internally that they want to start launching it too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for speaking to that more. It's so exciting just to see the different ways that we can expand with you guys and the different applications of the tool itself, as you said, kind of to your point of launching on the pro site, which we're so excited about. And I really love to hear more about, that 360 communication strategy that you guys enact, with your marketing efforts. Like, it takes more than just putting a show on the site and expecting people to come. So I love that you really understand it. It takes kind of all internally to get this program up and running, and you really have kind of fired on all fronts. So it's just amazing to see how the results kind of follow those initiatives.
Definitely.
And speaking of results, actually brings me to my next question. So looking at results, which specific features or strategies or approaches have made the biggest difference in your success? I know we've spoken a bit about kind of gamification and marketing, but maybe you could expand on that, or if there's something that we haven't touched on yet.
Definitely. So for a while, I would say, and I think even from the marketing standpoint, it's something that we need to even continue to evolve and get better at. For a while, pretty much it was only communicated via email about the live stream. Of course, not everyone looks at their email. Some people do, some people don't. That has since evolved into social media posting about it. And then most recently, what I think has made a huge difference, actually, again, just given people's behavior around email, is we've incorporated it into our SMS program. So now before every single live, there's also an SMS sent to our existing clients and customers. So that has made a world of difference in terms of volume of viewership, I would say. It's also very easy. You click the link right on your phone, and it, of course, takes you straight to the live stream. So that one for sure has made, like I said, all the difference. And then the giveaway component for sure, because we're also preemptively messaging about the giveaway in our email communication, in our social communication, in our SMS communication. And then honestly, I think what's also made a world of difference in terms of our numbers is they're much more fun. We do more fun lives now. I think for a while, as we were figuring out the foundation, and it was such a new thing, and to sort of open this door to our customers and let them in and see them like, oh, we're human, we have a personality, we have a brand, all these things that they hadn't previously experienced before. was definitely a shift. So for a while, and the lives were good. They were not bad at all, but it was a lot of like the same formula, rinse and repeat in terms of structure of the live. And, we were still a bit professional on them. Not that we're not professional now, but it was definitely more buttoned up. And I think this year with the gamification element that we've enacted, we've just been much more casual with the viewers, like anyone watching. And if you haven't tuned into Moroccan Oil Live, you'll see what I mean. We can get very unhinged. So it's just more fun now. And I think that is shown in the numbers as well.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And yes, if anyone hasn't tuned in, please do, because you're missing out.
Yeah, we
They
sing
do
to
have
the script, we got an applause machine. Like we're really, we're just doing it.
I love that. That's so cute. No, I think that's wonderful. And it also just kind of speaks to how authenticity speaks volumes across the board, right? Like certainly we can present something more buttoned up, more professional, if you will, but really what speaks to humans are humans. So I love the way that you're kind of putting authenticity first, and that's again resonating with your audiences, encouraging them to come back, kind of feel as though almost they know you. I think in this almost parasocial relationship, where they know what to expect, they're tuning in to kind of see their faves, and yeah, I love that. I think that's such a key point and something you guys do really, really well. Yeah, absolutely. And I really, to round it out, what mindset has guided you through your live commerce journey over these last few years, and how has your strategy evolved over time?
Yeah, from a mindset standpoint, truly, I have the mindset that this is not going anywhere. If anything, it's getting bigger. And it's one of those, I don't want to call it a necessary evil because it's not, but just that type of mentality of you can either adopt this or you can be left behind, kind of this like what we're in with AI right now, I would equate it to. So that's what I have. And if it's not going anywhere, then we better learn how to be really good at it. So I'm glad that we did start 3 years ago for sure.
I love that. I mean, early adopters, you guys have really kind of tried everything. You found what worked. You're sticking to it and you're optimizing that. And I'm just so excited. I mean, as your dedicated CSM, obviously, to continue to optimize with you guys over the coming year and years. I just love growing this relationship with you. You're such a joy to work with. And thank you so much for taking the time to just walk us through everything today, and hopefully inspire a lot of others to, kind of tune in, see what you guys are doing, because you're killing it. And yeah, just really, really appreciate your time. So thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Julia. Pleasure speaking with you.
All right. It was great to hear about the innovation at Moroccan Oil. It's not going anywhere. It's just getting bigger. You can adopt it or get left behind. Live shopping is the future. I love to hear that authenticity is contributing directly to sales, the unhinged fun energy of the clap machine. Thank you, Julia and Elizabeth. It's great to hear this conversation. We're now going to move to our final session, UGC to checkout, turning product discovery into conversions. Today, I'll be having a conversation with Nicole Calaco of Loft. She is the senior brand marketing manager, and she started her career as a sales associate and has worked across pretty much every brand in the Knitwell group, from Chico's to Soma to White House Black Market and now Loft. We'll be discussing their super innovative use of Bambuser and shoppable video to create really fantastic experiences for their customers. Nicole, thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and just to kick us off, I'd love to understand a little bit more about your background. You are on the marketing team at Loft. Are there any roles that you haven't touched at Loft, or what have been some of your sort of favorite experiences over the years working across Knitwell Group?
Yeah, absolutely. So you are so correct that I started out my career actually working in stores. Actually, funny enough, I was a pre-law major in college and then ended up doing this. But I always loved fashion. And when I got out of school, I was just kind of one of those people that kind of realized maybe law is not really what I want to do. So I took some time to find myself. And while I was finding myself, I was working at a store in my local mall. For anyone who's from New Jersey, I worked at the Short Hills Mall, which is a great mall. And what I discovered that I really loved about being a sales associate was getting to talk to people about the brand.
Mm.
And so I knew that my career trajectory wasn't going to be on the store side, but I really found a love and a passion for sort of like the public relations slash marketing side of working in the store. And the store I worked in at the time was kind of high profile and for the company. And we had a lot of corporate people in and out. And I had a few people that would come in on a regular basis and say, you should really maybe try PR or get into marketing somehow because you're so great at talking to people about the brand. And it was something that I had never really thought about. So lo and behold, I actually ended up getting an internship at Chico's FAS down in Florida, and started my career working for them as a social media manager. And I started working in social media basically at the beginning of social media. So it was very new, and really built the team and the program from the ground up there. And just as you said, throughout my career, I have worked across all of the Chico's brands. So Chico's, White House, Black Market, and Soma, managing their social media, influencers, and I've also dabbled in public relations in my time there. And then during COVID, decided to move on and work for Ann Taylor and Loft, to really help them grow and revamp their social strategy. And now I'm the senior marketing manager for Loft. So I'm very excited because now I get to touch more of a larger breadth of marketing for the Loft business. So not only social, but digital, customer engagement, things such as Bambuser, as well as just all the things that you think of with marketing, like product marketing, and marketing our brand out there in the world. So it's been a really fun journey, and I've gotten to touch a lot of different things. I don't know if I can say I have a favorite thing that I've done, but I've definitely always loved working on projects like Bambuser, or just very innovative marketing tactics.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, and also just community building tactics. I think my background in social and working in the store environment has just made me someone who's very community focused. And I love to hear from our customers, and really understand what our customers are thinking. And so definitely this Bambuser project and working with Bambuser and our live selling strategy has definitely been one of the highlights for sure.
I love that. You're kind of an ideal Bambuser champion because that marketing strategy that's so rooted in storytelling and community building, that's exactly the kind of commerce that we're trying to drive. And video is so central to not only bringing product to life, but bringing people together, whether that's, through shoppable video or in a live experience or in a one-to-one. We see that connection is so much more engaging for customers that are shopping online and can't get to a store and can't see someone in person.
Yep.
Yeah. Now I know live was a huge focus during COVID, and now we see a lot of brands are starting to use some of that content that they might have put in a live video, on site through shoppable video. I know with Loft, you guys have developed your style series. I'd love to hear more about your strategy there, and how you're sort of repurposing that content with this new shoppable video approach.
Yeah. And, we started our live strategy during COVID, like so many other people, and people were home. They had a lot of free time. And so, we would do the lives very regularly, and we would get amazing attendance. But as the world started coming out of COVID, we just started to notice that the actual live viewership was dwindling a little bit. And even in talking with our partners at Bambuser and just understanding what was going on in the landscape, we heard that a lot of brands were kind of seeing the same thing. However, we knew that there was still a place for live video content, and we knew that there was still a place for styling content, for our brand. And we wanted to figure out a way to be able to still bring those experiences to our customers. So we decided to launch the style report on loft.com earlier this year, and really make it our hub for video content. So that way she could access that content anytime, anywhere she wanted to, whether she was on the go in her car waiting to pick her kids up at school, or she had some free time at night before she went to bed. But she wasn't so tied down to having to wait for only those live video moments. So today on the page, we still use it as the place where our live content lives. So when we have a live video coming up or a live shopping event coming up, you'll see a promo for it up in the corner where customers can RSVP, and then she can come back there to watch the live when it happens. But we're doing the lives less frequently. So I would say we're honestly only doing true live events now about once a quarter, maybe twice a quarter, depending on what we have going on from a brand perspective. And they're more general. So they're just big, like, here are the best things that you have to have from Loft this season. They're definitely more seasonal versus collection based, the way we were doing them previously.
So now post COVID or post lockdown, we're really seeing that it's more quarterly, it's more general. So would you say that the audience has changed then as well?
You know, we have a very strong group of live loyalists, I'll call them. And so we were very fortunate to find a host for our live selling who really has an unbelievable ability to connect with our consumer. And she has been our live host since day one. She's a stylist. She's not employed by Loft. We work with her. We contract her to do live selling as well as other content for us. But our customer absolutely adores her. And so we continue to work with her for the lives, and she has such a loyal following that we continue to see those people coming back. But what we have found has been really successful for the lives when we do them is doing them around our largest promotions of the season. So we typically do one like very, very large promotion every season. And we typically do the lives around that. It helps, of course, drive sales, but also does bring in some of those new eyes that maybe wouldn't have seen the lives before, because they come to the site to shop the sale and they see the fab in the bottom corner when it's going on. And
for those of you that don't know, the fab is what we call a floating action button, and it sort of sits in the corner showing a highlight or a preview of the video.
Mm-hmm. And so that definitely brings a lot of people in when we have these high traffic moments on our website.
Awesome.
But once the live is over, we still want to make sure that customers can come back and view that content. And getting back to what I was saying about just her habits changing now since COVID, we then upload the live videos to the style report and make them shoppable. Of course, they're shoppable during the live, but we make sure that they're still shoppable on the style report as well. And on our style report, you have the ability to filter videos by topic. So we've got 4 topics that she can filter by, just general sort of new arrivals type content, where to wear, which is like dressing for end use. So if she's going to the beach or she's going on a trip or whatever it might be. And then we also have Loft Live as a filtering option. So customers who weren't able to view the live in the live moment can come back anytime she wants, and we don't remove them. So we keep them there so she can always come back and watch those live videos and get style inspo.
That seems like a great way to incentivize people to come onto the website and really just come into the sort of virtual store.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to know, how you're leveraging your social following. How does the social media community sort of play into this shoppable video effort that's happening on the style report on site?
Absolutely. So we certainly leverage some of the videos that we do create for our social channels, particularly with our influencer and creator partners. We do leverage those on the style report as well. But I think one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we kept in mind when we were thinking about content for the style report was that we don't just want to give her the same content that she's getting in other channels from us. It's almost like another social channel for us. And we want to make sure that everything we're doing on all these channels has value for her. And if she's already following us on social, then there's no reason for her to come to the style report to see the same videos. I mean, yes, it's easier for her to shop, and that's certainly a benefit, but we want to make sure that we're continuing to keep her engaged and giving her content that feels exciting and new for her. So We definitely are leveraging some of that content from our social channels, but we are actually briefing into when we work with influencers or content creators, we are briefing into topics specifically for the style report that we know are going to engage our audience there. And then on social, we do Instagram story promotion of the style report, and we remind her that we have this page for her that she can get style inspo. And we've tried a few different things. Sometimes we'll pull in a clip from one of the videos into an Instagram story so that she kind of gets a little sneak peek teaser. We've given her like, here's the top 3 reasons you need to visit the style report, get style inspo, engage with other consumers, watch live videos when they happen. Like, we really try to give her the benefits of coming to the style report to engage with the brand in that way. And we definitely see a lot of traffic coming to the page from our social channels as a result. It's sort of our number one place that we're able to promote this content for her.
That's great. The layout of the page kind of feels like a blog almost. So I can imagine someone coming from a social channel, it feels like an extension of that. It's very, the content feels very engaging, and it's very, video forward, and it feels like you're looking through someone's style blog and not necessarily an e-com site. Now I'm curious, with influencer marketing and user generated content being key drivers of authenticity, how do you integrate influencers and UGC into your shoppable video strategy, and sort of when did that start?
So when we launched the page, we really just said we want to leverage our influencers and our creator community to help us build the content on here. I think probably all of us on this call know that customers trust influencers and content creators more than they trust things that come from the brand. And we've seen that firsthand through our social channels. They're, our best brand advocates, and we see such strong engagement with our creator and influencer community that it just felt like the right thing for this page for us. So we do, as I mentioned before, when we are briefing into our influencers for the month. So we brief influencers every month, and we think through like, what are the big style stories that we want to make sure that we tell each month. We do brief in specifically for the style report. So we really think about, if someone was coming to this page, what would be the content that we would want them to see? Again, staying within those buckets of content that we do have on the page. So we brief in accordingly to that. And then they create the content for us that then ultimately gets posted to that page. So I think, we definitely believe that influencers is the right thing for us. We're definitely not in a place right now where we're creating all that styling content in-house, but I think, one day, I think we're interested in exploring that and hopefully getting there one day. But our consumer really connects with the influencers in our network. So if she's already connecting with her in other places, then why not leverage those people who she's connecting with here as well? And we're purposeful about the people that we use on this page. Like I said, we've got a great superstar who does our live videos for us, and she also creates some of the other videos for the style report. And then we have just a handful of other influencers that we specifically use for this purpose. So we're not using every single influencer that we have in our arsenal, but we are looking at who's performing and the style of content that's performing, and then making sure that we're continuing to leverage those people that are working for us. And that has seemed to be a formula that has worked. And we update the videos monthly. So, we will get a small handful of videos each month for this channel, and then they get uploaded here once the content comes in from our influencers.
That's great. It seems like you found a really good balance of sort of keeping that newness while not moving too quickly, and people can come back and access everything. Really interesting stuff. Now, looking ahead, thinking about how the industry is moving quite quickly, I'd love to hear from you as someone who's been at the forefront of social media marketing and influencer marketing, and now shoppable video. What sort of trends do you see shaping live, shoppable, all kinds of video commerce, as we approach 2026 and beyond.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think lives are going anywhere. I think it's like probably one of the most interesting digital trends that's come out of COVID is this whole live shopping thing. And I still think there's like so many brands that aren't even doing it. Like I love Loft and I work for Loft, but I also shop at other brands and most of the other brands I shop with are not even doing this. So like I think we're just scratching the surface for live. So I would say to everyone on this call, just because we're here talking a little bit more about shoppable video, it doesn't mean that, we don't still believe in lives. And I think that there is a place for them. I think what's really interesting about the lives is like, they're kind of the QVC of this modern era. I think back to when I was a kid and like QVC was the be all and end all and being at home and watching on your TV. But it's just a new way to think about something like a QVC. So I don't think that piece of it is going anywhere. I just think brands have to adapt to how our consumers want to engage with us today. I think that, shoppable video, 100%. I think one of the downfalls of video on social media, like on Instagram or TikTok, is it's not easy to shop. And that's why having an experience like this, like the style report on our site, is so great because the number one comments that we get on our social channels when we post a video is like, how do I shop? And it's like, even though you've got the link in your bio, you've done everything you can, like it's still not easy to shop from social media. So being able to drive her here, we're like, literally, she does. If she's still asking questions at that point, then maybe it's hopeless. But I think it's just such an easy place for her to not only see the content and get inspired by the content, but then be able to actually shop the pieces that she's seeing. So I do think like shoppable video is definitely something that I feel like we're going to start to see brands playing in the space with a little bit more. All brands are leveraging video, and I think that's going to continue to be a huge trend, but really, leveraging that shoppable piece is going to be huge. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, I think like I always say this whole idea of community building and community management in social is, I feel like, very overlooked, and is something that I think there are a lot of brands who do community very well. But I think that at the end of the day, that's what this is, right? It's community engagement, it's community building. And so I just continue to see in the industry all of these tactics around community and engaging your community and building your community in new ways as such a big trend in the industry, and just making sure that we're listening to our consumers and giving her ways to engage with the brand that work for her, and engaging with the brand when and where she would like to, versus us saying like, oh no, you can only engage with us here during this live event, or you can only, so we want to be available to her, and we want to give her inspiration no matter where she is, what time of day it is, and how she wants to engage with us there.
I love that. I've heard a lot of recurring themes throughout this conversation, and it sounds like making the brand and the content really accessible for your customers, making it as easy as possible to engage and also to buy, and making sure that you're hitting them at the right time and places. So it sounds like you've really done a lot to develop this winning strategy for shoppable video and video commerce more broadly. I'm curious if you were to leave your audience here with any last pieces of wisdom, any final thoughts, what would you like to share?
I would say take the risk, do something new. When live video came our way, we were doing lives on Instagram. Like we didn't even have like live selling on our website, and we were doing it at the surface. Like we didn't even know that existed. And honestly, we launched this kind of on a whim. It was like one of those things where somebody said, hey, I heard about this company, Bambuser. We should check this out. And we like quickly made it happen. And I'm so glad that we did. And we kind of took the risk. We were the first brand in the Knit Well portfolio to do this. And it's really paid off for the brand in a big way. And same thing with shoppable video. We just immediately jumped on the opportunity to leverage this new functionality with Bambuser. And again, it just gave us such a great way to engage with our customers. So I would say, always take the risk, do something new. And if you can be sort of like first to market to do something, I know it's not always possible, but if you can, it certainly has paid off for us, and, would recommend others to do the same.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nicole, for the time. It was great to hear more from you about how Loft is leveraging video commerce to really build community and make these meaningful experiences happen for customers. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
All right, that brings us to the close of today's webinar. Please follow Bambuser on LinkedIn and feel free to add me directly to keep up with all of our news and updates. I want to say a huge thank you to our keynote and interview guests, Carmen Millay, Elizabeth Jordan, and Nicole Colaco, for sharing their expertise and experiences. Thank you to everyone in the audience for your participation and thoughtful questions. And as a reminder, the recording will be emailed after the session. So if you have any questions that pop up, please don't hesitate to contact our team. On behalf of Bambuser, thank you again for joining us. Stay connected, stay creative, and go beyond expectation. We hope to see you at our next event. Thank you.